Hey everyone, it's Will, GamerDad, with another video for you. So of course we're going to start off the video and today by claiming the green and red key from the treasure chest. It only lasts for a few weeks, so make sure you make the most of it. Now in today's video, we're going to actually touch upon, something I've been thinking about for a while, and I'd actually just want to put out this video to remind you all, if you haven't, to make sure you keep your gear up to date, especially the armor. That helps reduce damage and let you live longer against some of the toughest bosses and mobs in the game. So the Judgment Bracelet 3 is probably the most well-known one in the fact that you can get them all from Very Hard Beast King Castle. Now there's obviously a necklace and a ring associated with that as well. The reason why I brought this one up is because when you are going to Beast King Castle Very Hard, if you kill all 15 groups of mobs as well as the horrors each and every run, first of all, of course, you do have the 20% chance of farming Fane's Shadow, which we don't really need. You can also farm for Gilna's Psalms, which some of you may not have finished off. But the main thing is, 2 or 3 red keys probably will be enough to at least farm 1 or more of the armor. So you can access that top level armor a lot earlier than you can, for example, the Discipline Ring, which is more for Goddess of Time Part 2. So I'm going to actually be farming Discipline Ring in this video from 0 to plus 10. And of course, I've obviously cut out some of the boring grind part, but the reason why I'm actually aiming for Discipline Ring is that out of the 4 Eastern rings, and obviously 2 from present and 2 from antiquity, I find the Discipline Ring is the most useful. So first of all, these are the required materials to even make one, and I will say that the Grudge Crystal is a little bit annoying. It only drops from the Fireball kind of mobs, and don't forget, the Sulfur Crystal is only available through getting the Shani's sparkles within the Wicked Metal. So you actually have to wait for them to respawn. Most of them respawn, I think, in about 30 minutes or an hour. I can't remember the exact time anymore, but what I usually do is if I am farming for a particular weapon or gear, then I just kind of visit it once in the morning and once in the evening, especially since, if you have a top team, hopefully a full team of level 80s with multiple AoEs from different elements, then you can really kill off these mobs relatively quickly, hopefully within one hit, and then move on with your life. So here we go. Now, if you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. I also do have a Patreon account for those who want to support me this way. I'd also like to give a shout out to one of my Patreon supporters, Frank Wilson. Thanks for your support. So we're just going to kill off all the different mobs, and remember that we're really hunting for the Sulfur Crystal as well as the Grudge Crystal. So the Sulfur Crystal's right there, and I think there's 2 of them that spawn on this map as well as some Sulfur Flowers. And so I think there's 4 or 5 shiny sparkles you should try to get all within one run. Now in case of these mobs, Earth AoEs work very well, and you can see I'm fortunate enough to get 1 Grudge Crystal to start. Like I said, I'm not going to show all the farming of the Grudge Crystal. I do find those among the most difficult to get, only because Fireballs seem to show up a little bit less than some of the other mobs. I actually find those Twin Horns, those green kind of lizard thingies, show up the most. You can also see when you're using a weaker AoE, like a medium mole technique, that it doesn't guarantee a kill. So keep that in mind as well. I'm sure if you have a Tuva or other Earth type attacks, that will be more than enough. And so at this point, once you get familiar with the mobs, you can definitely tailor your team to kind of handle any situation. Like for example, you won't be using Garyu's Infernal against it. It's either null damage or absorbs. And so with the Manifest from Myris, I do find her very, very useful. This is actually the same team I use in my Garalia, both Antiquity and Present. And just for laziness, I'm not really switching characters to fight all the mobs. I know, for example, this enemy is actually weak to Slash, I want to say, as well. I could have brought Aldo in from the back, or put in a zombie, something like that. But that being said, I can still kill it with an AoE, and especially if you are fighting multiple mobs, you will have a half bar in no time at all. And there you go. You will still need those Tornado Crystal Horns anyways. Now, if you look at the list, especially as you go through this particular video, not all the materials that you'll be farming in each area will be used for the Discipline Ring. Some of them will actually be used for the Tempered Ring and Tempered Armor throughout throughout the eastern region. And don't forget that if you are missing some of the top eastern weapons, you really want to get that as well. Now, some of you might be wondering, okay, I'm not at Goddess of Time, what should I be farming? So first of all, I won't be showing it in this video, but my recommendation is once you finished chapter 25, hopefully you have at least level 40 armor. The easiest one that I would farm would be for Miglin's Castle Very Hard and its associated armor. So, if you go to Miglin's Castle Very Hard, you'll see the gear that it drops, the items that it drops, and then you farm the associated ones on the overworld. If you have all gear decked out like that, weapons and armors, then you should be able to do that. So we're going to buy the Discipline Ring right there, and we're going to check out the requirements to upgrade it. For those who haven't upgraded a weapon ever before, note that once you buy a upgradable weapon or gear, you head over to the Napau Emporium and you can choose the item, and you can see that one. If you have the required materials, then it'll allow you to pay money as well as give the items, and you get the additional attributes, which is Discipline Power +1. So keep in mind that the reason why I'm upgrading this, for example, and I have a few of them actually, is that they do give extra MP, I believe 5 MP per level, for a total of 50 MP out of +10. Now you may be thinking, oh, what's 50 MP? Not much. Now in a long protracted battle, you have to understand that 50 MP is probably 1 or 2 moves. And keep in mind that your regeneration of your MP depends on your max MP. So, when you use specialized grasses to enhance MP recovery, or just in general when you move them to the back, you will recover more MP if you have a higher MP. And of course, mages have the highest MP of all. But, think of all the other users that use rings. Katana, there's a few other ones that I can think of on offhand. So, some of the weaker physical units do use that. Bracelets, of course, are the most widely used for frontline, full-on armor type users. And of course, necklaces is kind of like that kind of, for example, Lokido, I think Tsubami uses those, so on and so forth. So we're just going to continue grinding. So I'm just kind of bringing up the enhanced attributes and slowly getting up to +10. Now, also, if you're not really experienced with upgrading, keep in mind that there is a rare chance, and I don't know the exact percentage, where instead of getting a 1-level upgrade, you'll actually get a 2-level upgrade, and it'll say great success. So if you see a gold flash and kind of gold aura, you actually skip a level, and therefore you actually save both money, which at the higher levels can be 1 or 200,000 git, as well as the materials required, which actually saves you a lot of grinding time. So we're now in Mahora Lake getting some of the required materials. The Apparition Stone is what we need here. Now we're gathering the Ripple Rock as well as the White Wood, which are the kind of sparkles in this area. And we're going to take on these enemies. Now I believe the Ominous Fire, again, the fire dudes, are the ones that are dropping the Apparition Stone. And just like its counterpart in Wicked Metal, these don't show up as much as others, and you can clearly see that it's not even a guaranteed drop. So yeah, it can be quite annoying in terms of the RNG, both with the amount of drops as well as the number of drops. And so you're hoping that they actually drop the same rate. But I can tell you from experience that no, these mobs don't show up as frequently as others. Again, the twin horn equivalents, those kind of lizard things, show up way more often. And then you have the, there's some, I guess, see these ones, these twin horns, they show up most frequently, which is very annoying because we don't need those materials. And then there are the blobs as well as these kind of avatar thingies. Now keep in mind that this one is actually weak to water as well as to grunt and earth, which is kind of weird because in this area, I know it's Mahora Lake. Isn't Mahora Lake water type units? And if that's the case, why is water useful against them? It could be actually Slash as well, but it's been a while since I've researched every single weakness to all the mobs. So I'm switching out here, and you can see I brought in AS Annabelle because she has a priority attack, which is the Daylight Breaks. It is a water type Slash unit move, and it kind of wipes pretty much most of the enemies here. So you can see they're weak to everything. You hit it 1 hit, and there you go. 1 Apparition Stone. Yay! Just a few more here to go. So let me know in the comments if you have been slowly upgrading or keeping up with the gear? Do you have plus 10 or, for example, all the weapons or just some of the weapons or gear? If you're actually wondering why I haven't upgraded all my weapons to plus 10, some of the reasons for that is that actually if you fight the 8 Eastern Horrors both in present and 8 Eastern Horrors in Antiquity, you actually get some pretty nice weapons. And for myself being a day 1 player, I actually had a number of months where I was doing other lands and I can use some of those top weapons in that sense as well. Either the Alcanactos, for example, Bulk Faust. There's a few other ones, even the Delos Xiphos, for example, from Barakai. So I don't find that the weapons were as important as getting a lot of gear, because really, you don't get a lot of sweet gear drops in terms of armor, and let's be honest, you need those top defensive stats in the game. See, these guys show up forever, these dark red crystals, and I have no extra apparition stones, and that kind of is unfortunate. Now, if you're wondering how long this is taking to get to this stage, I think I was plus 7 or so. We're talking already, I'm going to say on and off, because I didn't play straight, maybe 2 hours. So, I mean, it does take a lot of time. What I would say as advice is that you would break it up. Like I said, if you have 15 minutes in the morning, I know a lot of you do have jobs as well as other obligations just like myself. You can break it up in the morning, hit the one quick run here instead of doing a red key very hard dungeon run. You'll run through one of these, collect all the shinies, sparkles, kill a few mobs, and hope you have some good RNG luck with running into them. If you require the horrors, keep in mind the horrors actually respawn every 6 hours, and so you'll have to come back later on in the day anyways if you need more than them, because there are only 2 here and they only respawn every 6 hours. Now some of them are actually only respawn every 6 hours, but there's only one of them, like for example the the castle, that horror there's only one. Okay, we're getting close here. So Ripple Rock, you can see that's the one from the shinies. We are at plus 9. No gold aura, so we have to pay all the way to plus 10. But that being said, hey, not too bad for a Saturday morning. Got plus 10 from 0. Actually could buy the gear, and we are now fully decked out with 4 discipline rings for future challenges. Anyways, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.